Good morning and welcome to this new episode of MobieTalks. For those who don't know, MobieTalks is a digital format that we created almost 2 years ago to discuss all those topics related to the employee experience and empowerment. Usually, we invite experts or companies to share their own experience, best practice, stories, and challenges. This time we'll focus more on the solution, but I'll tell you more in 1 second. Before we start, let me introduce myself and Anna. My name is Laura. I'm the marketing manager at MobieTrain. MobieTrain is the all-in-one platform that supports your frontline staff in learning, communicating, and performing better, and most of all, getting their jobs done. Today, I'm here with Anna, product manager at MobieTrain, and she will show how we can improve the employee experience from onboarding to retention, which is the main topic that we will discuss today. So before we jump into our webinar, don't be shy. So we are here for you. Don't forget to use the chat if you want to share ideas, best practice, or if you just want to ask your question. We want to hear for you, so please don't be shy. As you probably know, in MobieTrain, we work with very renowned brands, especially in retail, hospitality, logistics, care, but I would say all those industries that have frontline workforce. As we know, especially by talking with customer and prospect and so on, we know that retail and hospitality especially are constantly struggling with attracting and retaining their new talents. And plus, we know that after you get those people, of course, you need to train them, to provide them with the right information, to support them during the all employee journeys. And we know that this is not easy, especially because it's a matter of creating the right content. But we also know that creating a very well structured onboarding process, it's very important to setting up for success. So to prevent you can go to the next slide. Exactly. So as we were saying, this is the topic that we were discussing today, because as we know, when you're attracting a new person in your company, of course, as we were saying, setting up the right onboarding process is important. But to prevent new employees from feeling overwhelmed, because this is something that it's always happening, it's important to share the key details, answer their own question, and introduce them to their colleagues, because this is very important to help them feel part of the team from the very beginning. But onboarding is just a start, because of course we know that it's important to keep those employees always engaged and motivated throughout their journey, because this is equally important. So we want to keep very strong connection, clear communication, and ongoing support. In this webinar, together with Anna, we'll dive into those challenges and we'll try to explore how you can enhance the employee experience from onboarding and retention. Okay, so of course, before starting this webinar, we were researching for more information, and we found some data that might be very interesting. If you go to the data, exactly this one, thank you, Anna. So we know that structure onboarding, it's more than just a process. It's a very important strategic advantages. So we know that, for example, some researches are showing that companies with an effective onboarding retain more than 82% of their new hires, and they are able to boost productivity by 70%. So we know that tailored learning path can totally transform the onboarding experience, but creating content, it's not easy. So Anna, I have a first question for you. How can we leverage this? How can we create an incredible employee experience from onboarding to long-term retention?
Thanks for the introduction, Laura, and very good question, because I actually experienced this myself this month. It was not really work-related, but this month I got myself a new gym membership. And to be honest, I have not stepped foot in a gym in the past 10, 15 years, I think. But when I did in the past, what happened, I entered the gym and I saw a lot of like equipments, exercises that you could do, but not that much explanation about how to do it, what to pay attention to, etc., etc. So what happened? I ended up not using my gym membership at the fullest because I was stuck with doing some exercises, like 2 or 3 exercises over and over again. So I was not using the complete gym infrastructure to the fullest. And what happened then? I quit. To be honest, I just quit. I did not prolong my membership and I did not go back like in 10 to 15 years. So what happened this month? This month I said like, okay, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to see like if I like it or not, and I'm just going to take a membership of like 1 month and try it out. And this week I prolonged my membership with 1 year. So what was the difference between my experience back then and my experience this month? To be honest, it was this just my cell phone. That was the only difference in the experience. Because when I got my membership this month, as soon as I got my membership, the gym sent me like a notification like, please install our app that can help you with starting up your gym experience. So the first thing I had to do there, what I could do in the app, is find buddies. So people within my network, people I actually knew who went to the same gym that I had indicated that I wanted to go to. So I contacted those friends and was like, hey, if you don't mind me going with you for the first time, I would be happy to get like introduced via you in the gym. And then after a few times, I went to the gym myself without the buddies, without the friends. Um, and I felt more motivated and more empowered and confident to go there. Why? Because every time I wanted to go to the gym, I just had a look like at the app and all things I could do, like all the exercises, equipment, they were explained in the app again. So if I had something like I forgot what I had to do or how to do it exactly, what to pay attention to, I just had a look in the app before I went to the gym or while I was at the gym, and even afterwards. Like I'm not sure I did this correctly. Maybe I should relook to the instructions. And so now I'm much more confident to go there to do what I need to do. And yeah, the end result is that I am going to the gym more often and I prolong my membership. And I feel much more confident, much more motivated, empowered to go there. And that is exactly, of course, what MobieTrain does as well for companies, for our clients, and for their employees. That is the exact feeling that we want employees to get when they onboard in a company, but also when they have been working for years in a company, that they feel motivated, that they feel empowered, that they feel connected, and that they always feel that they have the correct information at their fingertips in order to do what they have to do, what they want to do. So that is how I hope that MobieTrain will do this onboarding and this retention and the improved productivity for our clients.
Great. I think I was asking to the in the chat if people had the same experience. So if you experience something like this, might be for example at the gym or any other experience also related to your own company, feel free to share. And after this experience, can you tell us maybe more about, I don't know, a real case, something that we are experiencing with our customer?
Yes, indeed. So we notice the same kind of behavior, same kind of things with our customers. Um, and another thing I also experience for our direct clients. So we have clients which are mostly like HR departments, etc., from certain companies, and they have their own employees. But of course, in order to make your employees feel that way, you need people behind the scenes that provide correct content. So all the instructions in the application, they need to be made and provided by someone. And that are mostly like, it can be like learning and development coordinators, it can be HR that provides this information, it can be marketing that provides information. There are a lot of people behind the scenes that need to make it work. And for that, I have an example, and I would like to introduce you to Emma. Emma is, of course, a fictitious person, as you can see on the slides. She's just a cartoon image, but maybe you can relate to Emma because Emma is working at a retail company has stores or different offices in different countries. And Emma is responsible for the learning and development strategy of that entire company. So what does Emma need to do on a daily basis? She needs to communicate on those learning and development initiatives, but within all the stores, locations of her company over all those countries. She also needs to transfer the right knowledge to the right people at the right time. And she wants to share like really best practices, policies on all those different locations as well. And lastly, she also needs to adjust all that learning content, so the knowledge, the best practices and policies, she needs to adjust it to the rapidly changing employee needs. Because let's be honest, if you want to transfer knowledge nowadays, it's very different than like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Like I said, when I went to the gym like 10 years ago, I did not have the option to be like to gain some knowledge via my mobile phone. That was just not an option back then. But it is now. So that really differentiates the way you promote your content and you bring your content to the correct audience. So this is what Emma needs. Maybe there are some things that you recognize yourself, things that you do on a daily basis. Maybe you have some colleagues that do this on a daily basis. But this also includes some difficulties. So Emma struggles a lot with having some feedback and feeling of all the people that work for her company on all those different locations. She also really struggles to reach the people that work in stores or in the offices because they use different communication tools than Emma herself is used to. For example, Emma can be used to using Microsoft Teams as a communication platform because she is mainly a desktop worker. But maybe people in the stores at the other offices, they just don't work with the same communications tools. So Emma's wondering like, how can I really reach those people at all those locations if they're not using the same communication platforms? And then she also has a little bit of difficulty with keeping up the motivation of the regional managers or the store managers, because those people are really on a day-to-day job. They're really occupied with doing their day-to-day work and like communicating upon the learning and development initiatives. It's just sometimes a little bit too much and difficult for them to also take that into their daily way of working. And then lastly, Emma feels that there is a mismatch between the available learning contents and the way employees learn and search for knowledge. So this is a sketch about Emma, just a fictitious person, but it will help us to explain a little bit better on how we at MobieTrain feel that we can create the same onboarding experience as I had with the gym, but from Emma's perspective this time, not from the gym perspective, but from Emma as well.
Thank you, Anna, because I think that this slides it's very clear, especially in describing needs and pains. So now we're talking more about the challenges. So what are the solutions?
Yes. So what are the solutions? Within MobieTrain, there are two features that I would like to highlight. We cannot highlight everything, of course, within our application, but in the past year, we have released two items that can help Emma in these needs and these pains. So let me quickly go to our application to really show you how this can work. So I'm now logged in the application as Emma from HR. Let's say that I'm Emma for this moment. I'm logged into the MobieTrain application, and what I see here in my menu bar is that I have a new notification. So this is the notification of the news feeds, and as you can see, I land here on the news and the messages there's nothing in here because it's just a demo account, but the notification is coming from the chat. I do see that I have some available chats here, and one of the chats is with Alexandra, the store manager. So it is one of those people that I said, like in the previous slide, that is very difficult for Emma to reach, to motivate, etc. But here I can see that via the MobieTrain chat, Alexandra, one of those store managers, she reached out to me. And of course, you all know how a chat works. It's just the regular chat that you might know as you have, like for example, in WhatsApp or in Microsoft Teams, or maybe even Slack or other programs. But this is really within the MobieTrain application. So we have one platform to manage everything what has to do with the learning and development of your company. So as you can see, Alexandra here sent a message to Emma. And Alexandra just read a news post that Emma made in our communication tool as well. And she says, like, okay, I noticed that some new colleagues are starting soon. And Alexandra herself, when she onboarded some people within her own store, she has made it some sort of PowerPoint presentation on what is important for those employees, those onboarders, to pay attention to. So that is what the presentation is about. So I'm Emma. I logged into the MobieTrain app. I see this message from Alexandra coming in. And I can download right from the chat, I can download this PDF documents. And this PDF document, it's just like a template as well, of course. It's just with some basic information on what do you have to do when you pre-board or onboard in Emma's company. So it has some explanation like what you need to do before your first day, after your first day, on your first day, and some general tips and remarks that you need as an employee when you start working for the company. So this is very, very useful for Emma because, as I said, she had some like difficulties with having feedback and feeling with all the different locations that she needs to provide the learning and development initiatives for. So this is very useful information for Emma because she knows this is something that works because Alexandra has been using this in her store. This works, and she shares this with Emma. So that is one of the ways that we can use the chat within MobieTrain, and that is really like bottom-up communication as well. As we saw previously, we also have indeed a part of for the news feeds, which is more like top-down communication. Let's say that Emma wants to communicate something on learning and development initiatives. She can place it on the news feeds so that it's top-down, Emma communicating to all the different locations. But also the people in the notifications can reach out and contact Emma or other people within the company to have that sense of feedback and to share knowledge, to share best practices, etc. Maybe there are already some questions concerning the chat.
I was checking right now, at least for the moment, I think that the audience today is very shy. So don't be shy. We're here for you. And eventually, if you don't want to ask your question right now, after the webinar, I will send you an email. So feel free to reach out to us. We will also send you a presentation. So don't worry. But if you want to send your question right now, we're here for you. So I think that this is very important because we know, especially when it comes to retail, logistics, those people are not, of course, they're spending time in their own shop, but they don't have always the opportunity to talk with the HQ or talk with the other employees in the other shop. So we know that having a chat, it's something that we can use to create a stronger sense of belonging. We know how this can be important. It's also another way to share in a very quickly way all information that might be very relevant, especially during the onboarding process, which we know it's very important for the employee experience. I have one question for you because this was very clear. Maybe do you have any other example from our customers that we can share?
Yes, indeed. There are many ways. We already noticed that our clients are starting to use this chat functionality because, like I said, we only released it a few months ago. this year, but we already noticed that there are some very good use cases how clients are using it as well. This was only an example on how you can motivate like the bottom-up communication as well. What we also saw with clients is, for example, the combination of blended learning. So what do I mean with that? Often there are still classroom trainings as well that employees need to attend or that managers need to attend. So actual physical training sessions where you spend like half a day, or maybe even 2 days in actual classroom training. And then they make via the MobieTrain chat, they make a group chat together with all the people who attended the classroom training. And there they share all the information that has been used during that classroom training, presentations, useful ebooks, checklists, etc., etc. They just share it in the group, and people can like really talk after the classroom training. They can still talk with each other and with the trainer as well on everything they learned during that physical session. So while this is the digital part, it really blends in well also with more like traditional ways of learning as well. So that is a very good example. Another example that we see is the frequently asked questions chat. So as you probably know, there are always some questions from onboarders or even from experienced employees. Like there are always some questions that keep on coming back. They often are asked to, for example, the HR departments, like what do I need to do when I'm on sick leave? How can I book meetings? Yeah, all kind of things that you can ask. So all companies have their frequently asked questions lists. And what some clients do, they just make like a group chat as well. And they just say like, okay, you can ask your questions here. And the advantage of that is that you only need to answer it once and everyone already knows and everyone has the answer already. So it saves some time. It makes it easier as well for employees to find that information. Because often the frequently asked questions, they are explained somewhere on, for example, an intranet or a shared folder in some documents that the employees need to search. And we all know that people don't often do that. They just go and ask someone for this answer. So those are two very good examples that I've seen so far for the chats.
Great. Perfect. So if we want to do like a short recap, we could say that the main benefits about the community is like that you can connect your team and you can create a stronger community. You can improve social learning and of course support your team on boosting their own performance. And then of course you can also streamline communication in your organization. Is it correct?
Exactly. That's it.
Great. And so, of course, at the very beginning, we were talking about we're now considering the all employee experience. So we're talking from onboarding and retention. And of course, using a community chat is something that brands can use to create this sense of belonging, supporting their team and being sure that those teams will always be engaged. Now, you were giving us an example of how easy it can be to upload a document, for example, the PDF that you're showing right now. At the very beginning, we were also mentioning that the content is very important, especially when it comes to do a proper onboarding or to create trainings for the employees so they can feel motivated and supported by the company. Today, we're showing the community, but we have another very important feature that we would like to share. Can you tell us more about the new functionality?
Yes, indeed. So the other functionality we'd like to discuss is the AI content generator. AI is a very hot topic still, of course. And at MobieTrain, we also have some features that are based on AI technology. And let me explain you indeed from the same example that we are looking at here. So here, Alexandra, the store manager, has shared a presentation with Emma because this presentation has helped her to onboard some of her employees in the store quickly. So Emma thinks like, okay, this is very useful information, but I want, if this works for Alexandra's store, this works for everyone. So she wants to share it with all the other store managers and all the other onboarders as well. So what does Emma do? Emma goes to the MobieTrain CMS. What is a CMS? It's really where we manage the content behind the scenes. So this is where you make the content that people can see within their app. This is where you manage that and you make that available. Now, of course, one of the issues with that is, of course, it takes some time as well to provide some content to the employees, etc. And that is exactly why we made the AI content generator. Because if you need to start and make everything from scratch, that might be time consuming. Still, there will be an enormous time gain in the end, but at the beginning, it's quite time consuming. So what can Emma do? Emma can click on the aspect of learning content. And as you can indeed see, Emma has the possibility to create content manually, but she can also create content with AI. So that is the AI content creator. And let me explain you what it does. So when I want to create content with AI, the first thing I need to do is I need to select a language. So as you might have seen in the PowerPoint presentation, the presentation was in English. But let's say that Emma needs this presentation in French, for example, then she can also select French here and the AI will translate it directly for her. So she does not need to work with a translation agency or to translate herself. She can just choose the language which she wants this content to be available in. And as you can see, there are a lot of languages, so I'm quite confident you will find your own language in here as well. But for this demo, I will just select English because it will be more easy for everyone to understand. So I select the language I want my learning to be in, and then I select a single learning, which is a very limited version, a very short micro-learning, in fact. I will see some guidelines as well here to help you out with creating good content, because AI, it's really nice technology, but AI cannot read your minds. So the most important thing is to provide good inputs, so the AI can also provide good outputs. What I always tell people when they work with AI features is think about it as a human being. It also sometimes scares people, but think about it as a human being. If you, for example, would provide a document to a colleague and you would say like, okay, make me a sort of learning content out of it, make me a micro-learning out of it. If you think that colleague will be able to do that from the documents, then it's good input for AI as well. If it's not, then the output will be not exactly what you expect either. Same goes with like AI technologies such as ChatGPT. The better your question is, the more advanced the answer will be. If your question is not formulated that well, you will probably not get the exact outcome that you want, and you need to perhaps have some more follow-up questions. So the better the content is, the better the output is. So what I will do now is I will just select the PowerPoint presentation, the onboarding presentation that Emma received from the store manager, and I will click create. What happens now in the background is that AI is now going to convert the PDF documents into a micro-learning. And that means that it will change up the structure a little bit. It will add some questions as well, not only text, but also some questions. And then I'm going to switch to show you what it looks like. I'm going to switch to one of our onboarders. So I'm going to pretend like I'm an onboarder who logs in into MobieTrain. And let's say that is Sam. Sam, the employee. He just signed his contract at the company that Anna is working for. And he says like, okay, I'm going to start working for this company in 2 weeks. And he received a notification like, you can already prepare yourself a bit for your job by going to MobieTrain and by reviewing the content that has been made available here for you. So what does Sam see when he lands on MobieTrain for the first time? He will see already some content available that has been prepared by Emma, in which you can already learn about the company values, what to do on your first day of work, etc., etc. Now, the thing is, Sam will most likely log in via his mobile phone, and then it will look something like this, or maybe via his tablet. So it's fully responsive, but to make it a little bit more clear in this presentation, I will just show it on a desktop version. And Sam just like starts with the first learning content that is available here. He clicks on this learning contents, and then you will see that he will go through some slides with some short text as an introduction to his new role in the retail store that Emma and Alexandra are working for as well. You can see that there is a little bit of text as well, and you can see that before your first day, it adds some tips like what to do on your first day, and that input is coming directly from this PowerPoint presentation. So as you can see, the AI summarized it and it transformed it into this format. What's more, the AI also automatically added some questions in here. So it's more interactive, it's more fun to do. And there's also a check like if Sam really got what he is reading here and he's really paying attention to what he's reading. And it also provides the feedback element in here. So if Sam answers something incorrectly, we ensure that he learns from it and we explain like why his answer was not correct. But as I said, this has all been prepared by the AI. There's nothing that I did manually to convert this PowerPoint presentation into this set of questions and text. So as you can see, there are also many types of questions, different formats of questions that also make it like more interactive, more fun, and a little bit more differentiated as just plain text that the PowerPoint is in. So as you can see, this now consists out of a few slides. In fact, really creating an interactive microlearning from these documents. And this took only like 45 seconds to a minute in order for this to be available for Sam. Because this is something, honestly, I did not change anything manually in here. The only thing that was done manually is I can also decide on which people I want to share this with. Let's say that I only want to share it with onboarders and I don't want more experienced users and employees to see this, I can still modify those things. I can also add more images if I would like to, but you can just use it right away and just publish this right away. So that means that it's very easy to convert existing documentation, PowerPoint presentations, brochures, Word documents into a more interactive, fun, short microlearning. And that is way better adapted to the needs of the employees. If you really want the knowledge to boost your knowledge retention, it's much easier and for this kind of format to stick in Sam's brain, for example, than long and extensive documents like long PowerPoints with a lot of information, of long documents with a lot of policies and procedures. Then you can really split it up in some short micro learnings like this. And we believe at MobieTrain, of course, that this sticks better with the employees.
Okay, just one moment, Anna, because we just received two different questions. So
Yeah.
let me show them on stage. So we can start from Mark. This is something that you already mentioned, but maybe good to repeat because I can see that some people are joining the webinar right now. So Mark is asking, when it comes to create new content, can we only upload PDF or can we upload any other file?
That's a good question. For the time being, it's only with PDFs indeed. But you can, of course, PDF a Word document, you can PDF an Excel file, PowerPoint presentation. But for the moment, it's only PDF documents. We do plan to extend that at some point as well, but for now it's via PDF.
Okay, thank you, Anna. I hope, Mark, the answer was very clear. If you have any other question, of course, feel free to share them. And then we had another question from Peter. Let me show this question on stage. So the question is, can we see the source file of this short track?
Yes, you mean now, or do you mean in when you upload it as being like an administrator, like Emma?
That's a good question. Peter, what do you mean exactly?
Because this is the file that I've been using. Like I said, it's just like a sort of template that I made. The content in there is not that extensive. So it contains some slides. I think it's about 7 slides, which explains, okay, this is what you need to do on your first day, with some minor information. This is what you can do on during your first day. So like listening carefully, asking questions, some general tips when you start working at the company, and very specific tips if you start working for a retail company.
Okay, perfect. Because Peter was saying exactly that it's better to share like you're doing right now, so he can get a better idea of what the artificial intelligence is able to create versus the source content.
Yeah, indeed. If you're interested, we can provide you some examples of like input documents and output documents. We also have a page on that on our support website, which really explains like what can you expect from the AI. So we can provide some more information on that as well if you're interested in that. We have a website, a support website, which is called support.mobietrain.com. And there you can find like a very extensive explanation of all the features released. So also the AI content generator. And it explains you step by step how it works, but it also explains you like what can you expect from the AI features.
Perfect. So Peter is saying that that will be very helpful.
Great, perfect.
Perfect. So okay, so now we were talking about the community chat, and then we were also talking about the AI content generation tool, which I think that it's great. So what is the product strategy for 2024?
Yeah, indeed. That's a good question because, of course, these features have all been developed according to our product strategy. And for that, I'm going to skip to this slide because our product strategy was indeed to use AI and other technologies to minimize the investment and maximize the engagement. What do we mean with that? Well, minimize the investment is for people like Emma. Emma is like an HR learning and development coordinator, and she needs to ensure that she reaches as many of the employees with the less possible effort, of course, because, like I said, it can be very time consuming to make a learning and development strategy to really provide all the content that is necessary for that. So we really want to minimize the investment for people like Emma. So with that, we want to focus on automation, standardization, and simplification to minimize that manual workload for learning and development teams. And that is something that we always try to keep in mind when we create features like this, because we also indeed often get questions like, can we not also have like a sort more way of prompting the AI content generation, which we indeed also think of. And which we mean that, for example, Emma can go to the MobieTrain CMS, and Emma can, instead of uploading a PowerPoint presentation, she can just like start typing and telling an AI like what she wants the content to be like without having an input documents. We are also thinking about ways to incorporate that into the tool. But on the other hand, if Emma needs to type in this and this and this needs to be in that content, and then the AI does something, and like I said, AI is smart, but AI cannot read your mind yet. But then sometimes you have like output that you're like, this is not exactly what I meant. And then you need to change it and change it and then change it again. And then in the end, you might like need more time actually to correct the AI than to really than when you would have started from scratch. So this AI content generation is also really developed with in mind, like, okay, most companies, they already have a lot of learning and development information. They have like company brochures, they have a website, they have a corporate presentation with the company values in it. They have products, brochures. There's so much information already available there. And there's no way how Emma would be able to tell to an AI, okay, we have a new product line in our company, and I want all my employees to know everything about the product line. Then you're stuck with AI and like a more like ChatGPT wise AI, but probably then you have like a brochure on that new product, and that one you can use as an input for the AI. So that is how we really try to think of how can we within MobieTrain minimize the investment for people like Emma and make the lives for people like Emma as easy as possible. But on the other hand, you of course want to reach your goal. You want to maximize the engagement of people like Alexandra and Sam in my story, which are the store manager and the employee. So those people, they need personalization, they need a little bit more interactive, fun way of learning, and they need good communication to make their experience and engagement better and better. So this is always the balance we try to keep when we have been developing new features in a product in 2024.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. Checking the chat. We don't have any question, at least for the moment, so we can go to the next step. So, of course, every time that we're about to start a new webinar, as I was saying, MobieTalks is more like a format. We're always trying to collect some questions from people who are already in contact from our customer, because we think that it's very important for us to share those questions as well with you. So I don't know if you want maybe to add something on these slides, Anna, before we jump into the question.
Yeah, that is actually the summary of all this. Indeed, the features we released, the product vision is that we don't want to be a learning platform, only a learning platform, but we really want to shift more to performance enablement so that you can really see the results that you get from your learning, your communication, your training. So that is our end goal within MobieTrain.
Great. So if we want, we can move on with the question and answer moment. Okay. So, for example, one of the questions that we receive is like, how does the artificial intelligence technology within MobieTrain features work?
That is indeed a very good question. As I said, AI is very popular. It's a very hot topic. Has been for a year almost that it has become more and more important, and people are trying to experiment more and more with AI technology. One of the leaders in AI technology is still OpenAI. It's the company behind ChatGPT, for example. And we use the same technology. So we use the language models, the AI language models of OpenAI to also implement our AI features in MobieTrain. So we're quite confident and sure that we're using the most advanced AI technologies, most advanced language models that there currently is in the markets. We also keep track on the different versions that OpenAI publishes, because of course they also improve their product continuously. So we keep track of every time they release a new version of their technology, and we see if we can make it work with our AI content generation and also with our AI assistant that works according to the same technology. So we did not make this AI technology ourselves. We just used the best in the market to implement these kind of features in our own application.
Perfect. The mic was not working, sorry. So, okay, and then I can see no question in this for the moment. We can see the next slide. For example, this is something that we already answer during the webinar. So maybe we can provide some example because, for example, we were talking about the onboarding. What kind of content we can create starting from a generic PDF?
Yeah, indeed. So we also, same as with the chat, we also see some examples that clients use for the AI content generation. I now use this onboarding presentation that has been shared from the store manager with the HQ. But what we, for example, also see is like a corporate presentation in which you have the history of the company values, a short description of product lines, etc. We see clients uploading those kind of presentations as well, and just making like small micro learnings out of that as well. We also already had the example from a website. For example, let's say you have a website page which explains a product line within your company, very detailed. You can just like make a PDF out of that website page, upload it in the content generation, and it will also become a micro learning from there. So you can use all kinds of inputs, in fact. I think the most important thing to keep in mind is like I said previously, is the AI can really transform this content into a micro learning, but AI cannot read your mind. So if you have a PDF document with a few texts in there, just some bullet points, then of course the learning moment that comes out of it will not be exactly what you need. But even then, it might help you to already build a structure. Definitely when you're not familiar with MobieTrain and the way we structure our microlearnings yet, then it still can be a very nice way to save time and just to upload some stuff and then rework it later on, because you can still do that. So once AI generates content, you can still review it and you can still like adjust a little bit if you would like to do that.
Great. And so we can the other question that usually people we're talking with are always asking is like, are notifications sent out on every new chat message?
Yeah, indeed. That is a good question as well, because we often get that. And the opinions are, yeah, they differentiate a little bit as well. Because sometimes people are a little bit scared that with every chat message that has been sent in MobieTrain, if that triggers a notification on your mobile phone or your tablet or maybe desktop even, it might be a little bit too intrusive. So at this point with a MobieTrain, we're experimenting a little bit with the frequency as well on these notifications. So we now have notifications, not on every new chat message, but we have a notification on inactivity. So if your user has not been in the app in 2 weeks, then we notify that user again, like, hey, it's time to come back to MobieTrain, check out your communication, check out the new learning content that is available, etc., etc. But at this point, we do not send out notification on every new chat message yet. Just because we think that might be a little bit too intrusive for some people. And definitely when people install MobieTrain on their own device, on their own mobile phone, and like they're not in the office and they're not at work, then it might be a little bit too intrusive. So we're still like experimenting a little bit with that, see how users react, how clients react. But at this point, we do not send out a new notification on every message yet. We might, in the end, might do a little bit more with that, but we're still investigating on how we want to go forwards.
Perfect. Thank you, Anna. Okay, so it's 11:50, so we're 5 minutes late. But I'm happy to see that a lot of people are still joining the webinar, and we just received a new question from Peter. Let me share it on the stage. So, as an admin, will we be able to decide which kind of notification our users receive?
That's a very good question, because to be honest, when we first started thinking about notifications, we had that in mind. We had that in mind, and we had a sort of mechanism on which the admin could determine like which kind of notifications would be sent, what the trigger would be, what the message would be. But then again, we went back to our product strategy and vision, and we felt like, okay, if an admin needs to configure all these triggers, all these notifications, then the effort that the admin needs to put in there is way too high. Many admins, they just don't have the time to do all those things. They just are already very occupied with making the learning strategy work. Um, so we said like this is yeah, it's really nice that you can really personalize it yourself. But on the other hand, it's way too time consuming. So that is why we set for notifications, we are sending out notifications automatically. So it's not the admin who decides the triggers, it's MobieTrain who decides the triggers for now. And we will just send it out on an activity. We will add some more notifications later on, and then it might be possible that the admin can like turn it on or off to say like, okay, these kind of notifications I don't want to be sent, or these I do want to be sent. But we really want to keep a good balance again between the effort you need to put in as an admin and the engagement that you get from your users. So for the time being, that's not possible. Maybe at some point, some more settings will become available, but we'll see. Yeah, what comes back from feedback from clients, if they do want that or not, if it's really too time consuming or not.
Perfect. Peter, did we answer your question? I hope so. So I think that for the perfect. Thank you, Peter. So I think that we are almost reaching the end of this webinar. So thank you for joining this MobieTalks. I really hope that all information that we share with you would be helpful, and we can wait to talk with you very soon again. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for answering all the questions. I think that everything was very clear. And after this webinar, as I was saying in the chat, we will send you an email with the PDF that we use for this webinar and with the recording. So if you want, you can rewatch the webinar. And of course, feel free to reach out if you have any other question. Thank you so much. Have a great day and enjoy your lunch. Bye.
Bye.